Hello and welcome to the podcast Hepatitis B Positive from Diagnosis to Strength. We will discuss through the series of episodes on this podcast one of the most misunderstood health conditions and diagnoses, an underrated disease in global health, hepatitis B positive. It is a life-changing condition and not just a diagnosis. It is more than just a medical label. It impacts health, emotional well-being, social interactions, career choices, and even relationships. So if I may ask, hepatitis B positive, what does that mean to you? What comes to your mind when you hear that statement? Is it liver damage? Is it cirrhosis? Is it liver cancer? Does it bring a feeling of guilt or shame or fear to you? Or does it remind you of someone you lost, a friend, a relative, a neighbor, or someone you heard about? So whether you're living with hepatitis B or affected by it, or just interested to learn more about the condition, then this podcast will provide you with the opportunity. So please, I call on you to sign up for further information on this podcast on the link displayed below. In 2022, the World Health Organization released the data and information that over 254 million people all over the world are diagnosed and living with hepatitis B. And hepatitis B killed over 700,000 people annually. These are not animals, these are human beings. Someone's brother, someone's sister, or uncle, or child. But who are these individuals? We want to go beyond the numbers and the figures and humanize hepatitis B condition. We want to bring out the voices and the faces of the over 254 million people globally. We want to build a strong community that we are. The series in this podcast will discuss why hepatitis B positive is a life-changing condition and not just a routine diagnosis. So I am your host, Danjuma Ada, and I created this podcast because I know firsthand what it is like to receive hepatitis B diagnosis. And I also understand what it means to lose a loved one to liver disease from hepatitis. But more than that, I know what it means to move beyond the diagnosis and to find hope, to take control, and to help others do the same. For me, hepatitis B positive redefined my purpose. I never imagined in 2004 that I would go from a patient with hepatitis B with no agency to several years after sitting in rooms where global health policies are shaped. But this is not just about me telling my story, it is about you. I know you have a story to tell. So your story is important, you have important stories to tell, and these are stories no one else can tell. But you have to be willing to share those stories. We will help and guide you to share those stories. Now, what will you gain from this podcast series? Number one, knowledge that empowers you. You will understand hepatitis B. You will understand the treatment options. Now, this I know strikes a quote in you because there are so many information, misinformation, wrong information about hepatitis B treatment. Herbal medications, a lot of advertorials, even on social media on cure for hepatitis B. But what does the science say about the treatment for hepatitis B? You will learn about that and how to protect your liver. Your liver is the largest organ in your body. How do you protect it? Especially if you have hepatitis B. You will learn about that from this podcast. You will learn the latest research. You will learn policy updates and medical advancements. Oh yes, there's a lot of research, clinical trials, on hepatitis B cure. You will learn from the experts, you will learn from the researchers, from expert doctors, and people thriving with hepatitis B. You will also hear real stories that will inspire you. You will listen to personal journeys of people who turned their diagnosis into advocacy. And I'll start with me by sharing my personal journey. You're going to find hope in stories of resilience and overcoming stigma. You will connect with voices that remind you that you are not alone. You're also going to get practical tips for everyday life. You will learn how to manage hepatitis B through dieting, through your lifestyle, and mental health strategies, coping strategies of your diagnosis. You're going to get expert advice on navigating work, on your relationships, and disclosure. Then you will discover tools and resources to take control of your health. So who is this podcast for? Number one, for those diagnosed with hepatitis B. So if you have just been diagnosed or have been living with hepatitis B, this podcast will help you move from fear to empowerment. There will be episodes on understanding your diagnosis and making lifestyle changes. Number two, for caregivers and loved ones. If someone you love has hepatitis B, the series of this podcast will help you support them without stigma or fear. I know in many communities and homes across Africa, globally, people with hepatitis in homes are stigmatized, but this is because of lack of understanding. So you're going to understand how to talk about hepatitis B and offer emotional support and break these myths. For the general public and advocates, even if you do not have hepatitis B, this is also for you. You can be part of the change. You will learn about global hepatitis B policies. For example, WHO in 2024 released the new hepatitis B guidelines for prevention and treatment. There are vaccine policies. There are a lot of policies that you will understand, and then fighting misinformation. So, for the next episode after today, in the next 2 weeks, what will be the episode on? Let me give you a little preview. We're going to talk about diagnosis shock, coping with the first challenges of living with hepatitis B. That is when I'm going to share my personal story. And I'm going to invite also others that have been diagnosed with hepatitis B to also share their story. So I want to sincerely thank you for tuning into this first episode of Hepatitis B Positive, from diagnosis to strength. It means so much to me to have you here. So if you found this first episode helpful and inspiring, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, and your own stories. So please leave a comment to let me know what resonates with you. And also share this podcast with someone who might need a little encouragement or insight today. And in the next series, we will share and feature real listener comments, your questions, your stories. So we encourage you to submit your experience to our email address as displayed. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel and all the social media handles displayed there. It is my hope that we'll build a community of hope and action together with you. But until then, remember, no matter what life throws at you, there's always strength to be found in your story. And your story matters. Together we can create the change. Take care and thank you.